Hey all, here OS Reviews. You're watching our hands-on review of the RAVPower FileHub. This is the most multifunctional travel accessory slash smartphone gadget I've ever seen. It sells for $60. Now the first feature is as a power bank. It has a 6,700 milliamp hour capacity, so it can charge your phone around 2 to 3 times. The second feature is as a router. You can plug in an Ethernet cable and make the internet wireless. It can also be used as a repeater to extend the Wi-Fi signal coverage in a house. If you have a router maybe downstairs, you can use this to extend the coverage upstairs. The third feature is to use it as a backup tool. So you can actually put in an SD card and also use the USB port to connect to a physical hard drive, and then you can tap on the side button to automatically back up all the contents from that SD card into the hard drive. Lastly, it can also connect your SD card or hard drive to the cloud because, again, it's a Wi-Fi router. So you can just connect your smartphone, iOS, or Android into this, and you're able to see all the images and videos that you've loaded up onto an SD card that you can insert or onto a hard drive that you can plug in by the USB port. So we've got all of these features stacked into a very portable device that you can carry around. We have a very vibrant instruction manual along with just the product itself and a micro USB cable used to charge the battery inside of this router. All right, so if we take a closer look at the design of this router first, it does remind me a lot of just an external hard drive in terms of its dimensions. Up against a 6-inch smartphone, you can see it's a little bit shorter, but it's also going to be about 3 times the thickness, but still is very easy to take with you when you're traveling. Otherwise, it's made out of a coarse polycarbonate kind of plastic on the front. We have some LED status lights to tell us which functions are being used. The side here features the key that you can tap on to switch between 2.4G or 5G bands for the Wi-Fi. There's the SD card slot and an easy key that you can tap on to back up the SD card contents into a USB thumb drive or to a USB hard drive. Now on the other side here, we just have a dedicated power key that you can tap on for a few seconds to boot it up. On the edge is where we have an Ethernet port to make it into a real dedicated router. There's also a reset pin, the micro USB for charging the battery, and the USB port. Some of the features, like using it as a power bank, really don't need too much explanation. Simply plug it in, tap on the power key for a few seconds, and it begins to charge. The one thing to note here is it outputs at 5 volt 1 amp, so it's a little bit slow in terms of the charging rate. So of course the power bank is only really an extra feature, not its main priority, but it's not going to be as quick as a Qualcomm quick charge. Now onto the more unique features, like being able to access the memory wirelessly. So I plugged in a thumb drive here, and over on my phone, you simply need to download an app that's called the RAVPower FileHub. Open it up, and once you are connected to the router's Wi-Fi, it will proceed to refresh itself and detect if there are any disks connected. In this case, there is one, and that's the memory showing up correctly. This is just a very small 1 gig disk, and the remaining capacity up top along with the battery percentage remaining, so you can see all the folders listed down below. And I'm able to access all of the content, whether it's documents, PowerPoints, even music and videos that you can watch back from your SD card, your thumb drive, or your hard drive that you plug onto the RAVPower. Here's a folder filled with music. You can see that it's actually loading back pretty quickly. You can tap on it and it will begin playing actually in reasonable amount of speed. So if I wanted to, I can also start moving these files from the RAVPower onto my local memory, so that's on the phone, so I can do some file sharing and transfer back and forth. So for example, if I like this song here, I can select it, I can copy it, for example, and then put it onto my local folder. Let's try pasting it over here and see just how long it takes. Just a few seconds here for a very quick MP3 track. When I'm connected to the app, I can also tap on the SD card backup. Again, that's basically pushing all of the content from your SD card and saving a copy onto the hard drive or whatever thumb drive that you've connected by USB. Using this app, we can also set it up as a repeater to have it connect to an existing router and just extend the Wi-Fi coverage so you're able to enter your Wi-Fi information on a keyboard. Especially on iOS devices like iPhones and iPads, this is a pretty powerful feature because, unlike Android phones, which may have a dongle as well as maybe an SD card slot in some cases, there's definitely not those functions because Apple likes to keep their stuff very proprietary, but this still allows you to transfer some files without having to use iCloud or iTunes. So we can select the device here, and what's neat is we can actually connect to multiple phones and devices at the same time. We're still connected to that Android phone that I showed earlier, but here on this iPhone, you can see it can still read back the same files. So I believe you can connect up to 5 devices at the same time. And again, everything is still very responsive. You can see whenever the memory is being read, the thumb drive here is also glowing along with its LED light. Now the app also includes a built-in camera function that you can use to save the files that you take with the camera directly on the SD card or the hard drive that you have plugged in, which I think is pretty cool. It's able to last upwards of 6 hours before it runs out of juice, so you can definitely enjoy, say, 2 to 3 movies if you're on the go without having to plug it into power, which is pretty nice. Other functions, like using it as a regular router, aren't, that novel. It still is a very portable unit, so you have to keep in mind that the range is not going to be as large as on maybe one of your home routers that has a lot of antennas, because this one, again, is very much built on portability. It's going to be good enough in terms of the connection speed and range for a small room, but don't expect it to, extend to a full maybe 2 or 3 stories of a larger building. So that's more or less it for the RAVPower FileHub. I think it's a really clever travel accessory to take with you because it has virtually all the functions that you would possibly need, from being a power bank, from being a dedicated router, an extender, a cloud backup, or even a dedicated backup solution from SD card to hard drives, and it all works really well. The integrated app never crashed. I was able to navigate and transfer files both on iOS and Android, so it could be a very powerful little backup travel tool. So if you're interested, be sure to check out more details in the links down below. But for now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. It's been the RAVPower FileHub.